Okay, well, I've got some pretty major changes as far as cooling. Well, I've got two different things going on in my swimming pool that I converted into a greenhouse. I had to run a lot of new piping and stuff to do this, so most of the trees are outside right now. But just to give a little history of how the summer's been, with nothing running, you know, the fan not running, no kind of mist system, you know, basically a 100-degree day, we'd have a max temperature of 130 degrees in here. And while everything was okay, it did suffer some stress. You can see the brown leaves on the grape plant there. Anyway, my banana plant got hit pretty hard, and it may just be, it either couldn't take the heat or I didn't have enough water in it when it happened. But the majority of the plants, the citrus, strawberry plants, grape plants, they all pretty much went through it pretty fine. So 130 degrees with nothing running. Once I turned a fan on and a little mist system I had, and the fan was blowing air out, so it was sucking air from here and blowing it out of the greenhouse. With that running in a mist system on the same roughly 100-degree day, 102-degree day, I was hitting 123 degrees Fahrenheit in here. And today we hit 102, full sun. Got a new little setup I did that today was the first full day, but you know, this morning it was 92 degrees outside. It was 110 degrees inside. And when I turned my new system on, the outside temperature hit 102, full sun, but the maximum temperature in here was 106 degrees. So we went from 130 to 123 down to 106, and that's pretty awesome. The two things I did was I flipped this fan around. So the fan was blowing out. I flipped it to where it's blowing in. So in here you can actually feel a draft. And with it on, I don't want to turn it on because you can't hear me, but you know, the leaves were moving a little bit, so you can actually feel the air moving. And once air was blowing into the greenhouse, I took my mist system and put it directly in the flow of that air. And those two things, I think, solved my problem long term. The other thing I did was converted this little sump area into a recycling system, recycled water. So originally I had this little sump pump. When this filled up, and granted my mist system was well water spraying the water, this would like slowly fill up. I didn't want to use the well water because it's high mineral, high alkalinity. It wasn't good for the plants. So I was just pumping that water out and wasting it. But I was able to figure out a system that works to recycle. And you know, with that being done, this will gradually get replaced with rainwater, so I can use this water, not only the mist, but to actually water the plants also, and this gives me a pressurized system. So let me explain it to you real quick. So the original sump pump is right here, and it's just got little slots, so it leaves the debris behind. It just sucks water. So I've got that coming up from behind here, going up here, and then I've got, I think five hose spigots down here, and I've got one at the very end also, so I can blow the whole system out if it does get clogged. And at this point here, I put a Y on it, so even with the pump running and it misting, I can use this water hose here and water all the plants, and it's stronger pressure than I was using with the rainwater with the gravity feed. So this whole system is, I mean, other than tidying up, it's a home run as far as where I'm concerned. But to be able to do that, I had to clean the water in the sump pit there. So I ended up getting a sewage type pump, which is this one here. And instead of little slots that water goes through, it has a full 2-inch hole in the bottom. So everything goes up, the bark, the perlite, everything goes through there. And I had to figure out how to filter it. My initial, and this kind of shows my different levels of experimentation, but my initial thing is getting a spin down filter, which is a very cool filter. And if you hadn't heard them or used them, it's a way to not have to replace filters all the time. It's got a 60 micron, this particular one has a 60 micron filter, and this is the gunk it's filtering. And as it fills up, and while everything's running, you just open this valve and it creates this vortex and just pushes all the debris out and self-cleans. I mean, you got to open the valve, but it cleans itself. So that's pretty cool. The only problem is, let me stand up. It was probably inside of a minute with all the debris I had down there in that pit. It was just clogging up too quick. So I went to a plan B, added another leg here with another valve. I've actually got it pumping just into this window screen here, and you can see all the debris it's caught. And I've been running this system for a few days now, so we're getting pretty clean at this point. But there's leaves, there's bark, there's perlite, there's the plastic from drilling holes in the bottom, there's little pieces of plant markers and plant labels. So anyway, so yeah, I mean that kind of changed the whole game. So now I can clean the water down here. I'm reusing it, which means I'm using it and the water ends up back down in there. I'm cleaning it, reusing it. That means I can switch out from the well water to rainwater. So now I've got a closed loop system. So I can take this water hose, water all the plants. At the same time, it's doing I've got these these hose ends set on the flat spray, and I've got two of them. Anyway, while they're running, I still got full water hose pressure here. Makes it a lot quicker to water all the plants versus a gravity feed system. Now the gravity feed wasn't bad because the tanks are out here, so we're technically at a higher elevation, so they weren't bad. But you can't spray the water 6 or 8 feet. It ain't gonna happen. With this hose you can. So that's been an asset, and I think that solved my long-term problem for cooling the greenhouse. I really don't feel like I'm gonna have any problem with heating it in the wintertime. Like I said, after I built it, I already experienced 17-degree nights, and I didn't get anywhere close to freezing temperatures. I'm kind of sweating right now because I turned the fans off. The other thing I did was committed to using these little trays underneath every plant. You know, I was having to come out here. Well, keep in mind it was 123 degrees. I was having to water these things every day. With these little trays down here, I just make sure they're full. I mean, basically you can walk in here and visually tell if they need watering or not. And it may be rather than every day you've got to water it, now you've got 2 or 3 days before you have to water it. So I'm pretty excited about that. So the system's set up. I'm going to start bringing all the trees and stuff back in. Now you can kind of see the water print here from the mister system. But my initial plan is figuring out which plants are rainforest plants. Like I would assume banana plants can take a lot of rain. So I'm literally going to put them where they're going to get rained on by the mister system. Something that wants a dry land like, let's say, olives. The olives will come up higher away from the air. So I can put the plants where it'll best work in these little microenvironments, whether they want to get rained on or not. Anyway, that's all pretty exciting here. Now I wanted to address another thing, which is the structural integrity of the pool. I mean, I'm not an expert and I can't speak on it, but you know, that's what people ask about. Is it going to cave in? Is it going to crack? Is it going to heave? I did address heaving on another video, but I've never heard of a cave, or I've never heard of a pool caving in. If you got info on that, I'd love to see it. But I have heard of them cracking. But what I am experiencing is blistering. And if anybody knows what this is, I would love to find out. But I'm getting blistering where this outer thing is peeling off, and I don't know what this is. Is that a waterproofing membrane? Is it a skim coat? Does it serve any purpose? I mean, if anybody knows what that is, I'd love to hear from it. But I am getting where it is coming off. Now, get some fireworks going off. Full disclosure, we did have cracking. I mean, and I'm talking about the skim coat, but I've always had these little cracks in the pool. I mean, ever since I owned it. So I guess this was already happening before I emptied the pool. I mean, I know like this one here has probably been here for 10 years. Anyway, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was done for coloring or what, but if anybody knows, please put it in the comments. But I mean, past that, there's been no issues with it at all. Now this is, we're getting into mid-July, and I think I did this around February, so we're 7 months into this project, or less, I guess less. Anyway, with the fans off, it's heating me up too bad. I gotta sign off. I think I covered everything I want to cover. I don't have anything running because I filmed this whole thing with the fan running and the mist system running, and you couldn't hear me at all. But I guess what I'll do is I'll finish off with, I'll sign off now, but I'm going to turn the whole system on, come back in here with no voice, and just show the fan running and the mist system running and the pump running. I'll probably give you about 10 seconds of that, and then we'll see you next time.